going on, everybody? Welcome to Pigskin Pigs. It's your boys, Wayne Breezie and Mose Knows, and we are back. It's week 14 in the NFL, and it's time to do our picks. Mose knows what's going on, baby, because I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm just going to put it up there at the bottom of the screen, and if they can read, they can see, and they can understand what's going down this season.
Yeah, man. I mean, we looking good. We tied last week. We both went 9-4. I think we had two differences, and we split that 1-1. So we went 9-4. So no change in the standings so far, but we got a couple more weeks left. Keep hope alive.
Keep hope alive. Let's get right down to Thursday night football. You got the Pat Riots at the Steelers, bro. Listen, you got Bailey Zappi going against Mitch Trubisky. That's how I look at it. It's going to be the battle of the defenses to me in this game, Mose. Who you going with?
I'm gonna just because of that. I'm just go with the home team.
Yeah.
Give me some home cooking. I'm going Steelers.
Yeah, here. Look, this is funny because I think the Patriots defense is pretty darn good. For some reason, they find a way to show up. Last week, they only gave up 6 points. This week, they might only give up 6 points, but they might not be able to score any points. So I'm going to go with the Steelers as well on Thursday Night Football. Let's go to that Sunday matchup. You got the Buccaneers divisional game going against the Falcons. The Falcons are the division leaders right now, Mose. And if this was the playoffs, right, they'll be in the playoffs. They would be the division leaders. But this is going to be cool, man. Who you picking in this game?
Yeah, I think this should be a good game. There are a bunch of other good games this week that I think people are going to be tuning in, and that'll take game of the week. But a good division match here. I picked against the Falcons last week, and I was wrong. But I'm gonna pick against them this week. I just think the Buccaneers are a better football team. Um, Baker Mayfield is finding a way to get it done. Mike Evans is still Mike Evans. So I think the Buccaneers find a way to edge, and they're starting to run the ball a little bit better. So I'm going Tampa.
All right. Look, the home team, Falcons play pretty well at home. Maybe this will be a game Desmond Ritter is Desmond Ritter, which is not good. So at the end of the day, like, we going to get the best of them. If they can establish the run against the Buccaneers defense, which you can't run on this defense, we've watched the San Francisco 49ers do it. I'm not saying that the Falcons have that type of run offense, but they do have three weapons that they can find a way to utilize. I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to go with the 6-6 division leader Falcons in this game. They should be able to find a way to pull this off, even if it's by 1 point or 3 points at the very end. So I'm going to go with the Falcons. You got the Lions at the Bears. Part deux.
Lions have been faltering the past couple of weeks. It kind of came back down to earth a little bit, but I think this is a game for them to get right. One of those get right games, as they call them. So I'm gonna go Detroit.
Yeah, the Lions, I mean, I want them to lose because of seeding purposes. And the Bears are the weirdest team in the NFL. Like, right? Like, are they going to have that? Are they going to let Justin Fields be Justin Fields? Because if they do, the Bears have a great shot at winning this game. Didn't they beat them the first time, if I'm not mistaken? So this is a weird game for me. But I think the Lions are cooking. And I think on the road, that defense should be able to travel well. The Bears actually have a good run defense. They may be number one in the NFL in run defense. I don't know if the Lions will be able to run the ball on the Bears, but I'm going to go with the Lions here. If they can get that pass attack going, get that ball downfield, protect their quarterback and Mr. Goff, the Lions should be able to cook the Bears. The Lions have to cook the Bears if they want to, keep contention alive and get that number one seed. So I think their game plan will be on point. But if the Bears can slide in and do us a solid, I'll be great. We got the Colts at the Bengals. Who you going with, man? Jake Browning looked like he was a 5-star quarterback in the NFL this past week, week 13. But you got the Colts and Gardner Minshew coming into town.
Yeah, this one was tricky for me, man, because Jake Browning did play well, and they found a way to get a win over the Jaguars. Colts are a little bit banged up. Not sure if JT is going to play this game. I know he was out last week. Gardner Minshew does look good. He's moving this offense, and we know the Colts defense is going to show up to play. But I have a feeling that Folks in Cincinnati, particularly the players and the coaching staff, feel like they still can get some things done. Now, are they going to be able to get all the way to the Super Bowl without Joe Burrow? No. But do they still want to build on what they have and salvage whatever's left of the season? I think pride always steps in, and that makes that answer a yes. So I'm gonna go with the home team again. I'm gonna go Bengals because I think Browning picks up right where he left off in that game against the Jags.
Yeah, this is a tough one too. I don't think you get back to back Browning weeks. It's kind of like how the story unfolds, but him and Chase were cooking. It's something about the Colts that I just feel like their defense will be better than the Bengals defense. They'll be able to kind of put a little hold on the Bengals run game. Um, and they're scoring. I'm going to go with the road team here. I'm going to go with the Colts in this one. I think the Colts have a good opportunity. I feel like their offense is gelling with or without JT. Zach Moss is still a factor. JT does have that thumb-ish injury, so I don't know if he'll play. But even if he doesn't, I think they find a way to squeak out a win. The Bengals are going to be playing a better defense than they did last week, in my opinion. Let's go to the next game. Jaguars Browns. This is an interesting one because you have the AFC North going against the division leaders of the AFC South, who no longer have their quarterback, who's going to be out for the next several few weeks. It's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see who you're going to go with most.
I'm going with the Browns here because Joe Flacco came in and played pretty good. He's a veteran. He understands the league. He just give him a sheet of plays, something he's familiar with. Went out and ran those well. This is a team that hasn't, and the Jaguars that has not played without their starting quarterback. So now you bring in, who is it? CJ Beathard
CJ
is getting
Beathard.
a start against this Browns defense on the road. I'm going Cleveland.
Yeah, same here. I mean, it's a no brainer for me. Like no quarterback, no win. I don't expect them to run the ball well. It's just not a good sight. They're on the road too. They have to travel to Cleveland, so it's not a good thing without their starting quarterback. I'm going Cleveland Browns. We got the Panthers at the Saints. The Panthers who played really hard last week and tried to win, but they didn't. But the Panthers at the Saints. Who you going with here?
Saints.
Yeah, the Saints for me too. Texans at the Jets. Benny and the Jets. Just so you guys know, that kid will be starting again for the New York Football Jets, Mr. Zach. He's gonna be back there again. So who we going with here? Defense
Texans.
versus defense. Ooh,
Texans.
Texans. It is. C.J. Stroud, MVP candidate. I like it.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
let's
It's
go
gonna be a fun
Rams.
matchup though.
It's gonna be fun. I don't know how fun it's gonna be. He does have to go against that defense, but I
I'm
think
I'm just I'm just talking about from the standpoint of Sala versus D'Amico.
D'Amico.
Two coaches that
Ah,
used to coach together,
yeah,
so they
that's gonna
kind
be
of
a good
know
game.
each other's style. So it's going to be interesting to see that the chess match between the two of them.
I think I know. I like where you're coming from. It's like all gas, no brakes versus the Swarm.
Yes, yes, yes.
You got the Rams at the Ravens. The Rams are pretty hot right now. They've been winning. And let's see, man, can they find a way to take on this 9-3 team on the road? The Ravens have a top defense in the league, well, top scoring in the league defense. Who you got here?
I got Ravens. That's the
I got
easy one.
I got the Ravens too. Vikings at the Raiders. This might be a tough one. Jay Jettis is supposed to play. Dobbs is gonna get the start again, and he's gonna now have Jay Jettis. Who you going with?
Hmm.
They on the road against the
They
Raiders.
are on the road. This one was tough. I'm gonna go Raiders here. I think Max Crosby plays a huge role in this game, getting after Josh Dobbs, frustrating him. I know Jettis is coming back, but it's going to be his first game back after missing a lengthy amount of time. So he's a phenomenal receiver, but I think there is going to have to be some get acclimated time to get back into the full speed of an NFL game. And because he hasn't really practiced with them only this week, I don't see the chemistry being as solid as it could be. So for that, I'm gonna go with the home team again. I'm going Raiders here.
You know, the Minnesota Vikings currently would be in the playoffs if it ended by week 13. And that's funny to me. So with Jay Jettas being back, one catch would acclimate him back to football for me, especially if it's one of those big catches down the field. I'm gonna go Vikings on the road here, man. Look, the Raiders have been pretty decent with after they fired McDaniel, but I think the Vikings find a way to get this one done. They want to stay in the playoffs. They want to keep their contention going. The Raiders really don't have much of a shot. I think the Vikings give it all they got. They leave it all out on the football field. I'm going to go Vikings. You got the Seahawks traveling to San Francisco, a.k.a. Santa Clara, a.k.a. Levi Stadium. This is part two. I got Niners here. I'm not even going to – there's nothing to explain. Yeah.
No,
Here's a good game. This should be a good game. Here's a good game. We got a good game. Bills
I'm
at the
really
Chiefs.
who I want you to go first
I'm
because
going
it might
Bills.
deter. You are
I am. I thought listen, I thought Josh Allen should have beaten the Eagles. Okay.
right.
And I think that they're allowing Josh Allen to play like Josh Allen. And that is scary because when Josh doesn't have to think, he's MVP caliber. When he has to
Yeah.
think, he's a bad quarterback. I think he's back in that realm. They have the weapons to do it. I think the defenses are a push. Even with the injuries to the Buffalo Bills, Patrick Mahomes just doesn't have the weapons anymore. He's still the better quarterback in this game, but I think the Bills find a way to edge the Chiefs on the road.
Yeah, this one's tough for me because like you said, Josh Allen is playing good. Shoot, when they saw him in the playoffs, you know, he went toe to toe. And if it wasn't for the defense playing prevent and giving up all those yards in 13 seconds, he would have beat Mahomes at Arrowhead. With that said, if it's one thing that you rarely see the Chiefs do,
Lose
you
two in a
rarely see
row.
them lose two in a row.
Mm.
And coming off of the performance that they had against the Packers, and you could say what you want about the officiating and all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, they didn't do enough to where the officiating didn't matter. You know, there are a lot of teams that win games where the officiating was terrible because they did what they needed to do. They didn't do enough against Green Bay. And I think Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes is going to have this team in a better position to do what they need to do, especially against this Bills team that has been a rivalry as of recently. So I'll go the other way. I'll go Chiefs here.
I think it's going to be a game, probably the AFC game of the week for
Yes,
sure.
sir.
The Bills are trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. The Chiefs are number one in their division. This doesn't really hurt them much, especially when you look at the next game, the next matchup that we have with the Broncos at the Chargers. The Broncos, in my opinion, are red hot, like red hot.
Mm-hmm.
And they're finding ways to win. Doesn't matter. They're gritty. The Chargers, Mose, I don't understand them. It's got to be the coach, and that's the end of it. That's it. It's got to be him. That's it.
Yeah, I think we're at this point. It's a week to week watch party to see when the Chargers are going to fire Brandon Staley. I understand they got the win, but to only put up 6 points against a struggling Patriots team, who we know, yeah, they have a good defense, but the offense didn't score. No field goals, no touchdowns, and to
See,
only put up 6 points against that team. Now you got to face a division opponent that knows you well and that also has a good defense. And it's been a running joke on social media that, like, wow, Justin Herbert is just not living up to his draft status and he's a bust and he's this and that. It's irony because all the clips they're showing is the defense not playing well, giving up big plays, the offensive line not blocking for him, letting pass rushers come in free, and his pass catchers dropping some of the most catchable passes that there could possibly be. So, they're being facetious saying that it's all on Justin Herbert. So, with that, I mean, you have a team that doesn't have faith in their coach, is on the hot seat. They've been struggling. The weapons are not producing for their quarterback like they should be. And like you said, you're facing a Broncos team that's red hot. So I'm going Denver.
Yeah, it was easy for me too. Like, as much as I wish Herbert, I wish the Eckler, I wish that connection was back. I wish Keenan Allen stopped dropping passes. Like, I don't know what happened. He caught everything at the beginning of the season. Now he's got the dropsies. He's kind of like what Mike Evans had last year in the NFL, right? Like, it's weird. But for some reason that offense just doesn't look good over there in LA. I know they're the home team. The Broncos don't care about him being them being the home team, so I'm going Broncos. Maybe the potential game of the week, Mose. We got Sunday night football because you got a doubleheader on Monday night. You got the Eagles at the Cowboys, and people, when they watch this game, Mose, there's something. I mean, the Eagles got embarrassed. The Cowboys continue to win, and here's the thing: the Cowboys haven't lost to the Eagles at home in the last 5 meetings. Yeah. So, Mose knows what you know.
You want to know what I know?
Uh huh.
I know that the NFL is a copycat league. And I know that once you put film on
Ooh.
how to beat a team and how to really beat a team, because a lot of what to talk about against the 49ers were, it was a clean game. Neither
Mm.
team had a turnover, no
Mm-hmm.
interceptions,
Mm-hmm.
no fumbles. It was a relatively clean game. So it wasn't like, the game that the Eagles had against the Jets where Jalen Hurts throws 3 interceptions. Now, granted, you could say that the defense just played really well to force those, but we didn't have any extra possessions because of turnovers. It was a clean game, and yet we still routed them the way we did. I think we gave them a blueprint. I could see the Cowboys trying to use Tony Pollard like we use CMC, but I think they will be more successful trying to use CeeDee Lamb the way we use Debo Samuel. Not saying that they're the same player, but CeeDee is known to be somebody who can make things happen after the catch. And then I think defensively, they'll look at what we tried to do and they'll try to mimic some of those things because they have the horses. They got a DeMarcus Lawrence. They got a Micah Parsons. They have the pass rushers who also know how to contain and keep Jalen Hurts in the pocket. So for that, especially after how the first game ended against these two teams, I am going to go Cowboys on Sunday Night Football because I think they're going to try to come in with the same mindset that the 49ers had, that kind of get back revenge mindset, knowing that if we play the way we can play, we can beat this team.
I like it, man. I'm going Cowboys here as well for mainly some of the reasons that you just spoke of. But if there's one team that knows this team that doesn't lose to this team around whenever they play at home, it's the Cowboys. So for the Eagles, this could be a little downward trajectory because if they lose two in a row, yeah. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys here. I think the Cowboys continue to stay hot. And just to think about the story, the national headlines, the Cowboys beat the Eagles. They'll finally beat a team with the winning record. Let that sink in. Like that would be the national headline.
For sure.
I guarantee it. Let's get to these Monday night games, both at the same time, 8:15 p.m. So you got to pick your poison. You got the Titans at the Dolphins. It's Dolphins are the division lead, the conference leaders actually over there in the AFC. And for me, it's easily the Dolphins in this one.
Same. I think they're trying to push for that number one spot. Um, and they have everything in front of them that allows them to do it. So I'm going to go Dolphins here as well.
All right. And then the second Monday night matchup, you got the Packers at the Giants. Packers on the road. Listen, Jordan Love looks like dude love. He's out there balling right now. And they're going to go up against a tough defense. But you know what I noticed? The Packers got a tough defense too. I don't think the Giants will be able to do much against this defense. Don't really know the status of Saquon Barkley. Hopefully he's good to go, which will give them a chance. But I'm going Packers here on the road. Mose knows who you going with.
Same. I think the Packers look good right now. Obviously, it took them a little bit longer than they wanted to kind of find this rhythm. But Jordan Love is settling down, stepping into his role as a starting quarterback, and he's starting to look good. So I'm going Packers on Monday night as well.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Those are your pigskin picks for week 14. You know we'll be back next Thursday, same time, same place. I gotta catch up with at least one or two games. I gotta start catching up, man. We got 5 weeks left. It's crazy. Looks like I'm buying a ticket to next year's game for Mose, and I'm not attending. He's gonna sit by himself. All right. Love y'all, man. Stay up, stay faithful. We'll check you guys out next week. Peace.